Sentire Media.
Welcome to the Stop Italian Sounding podcast, uncovering authentic Italian food. I'm your host, Robert Campana, and join me as we delve into the rich heritage of genuine Italian food, exploring its legends, history, and traditions. Through important tips and insightful interviews with industry professionals, you'll gain a deeper understanding of authentic Italian food. Welcome back, everyone, to the Stop Italian Sounding show, uncovering authentic Italian food. So, I've always thought it was pretty interesting when I would hear of people in the world of food who are professional tasters. Years ago, I never really knew what that meant until I started to understand the importance of how certain foods best match with other ones. Anyway, when I was invited not too long ago to Modena, a city in the heart of the Italian region of Emilia-Romagna, I was able to explore many delicious and high-quality products that they're known for. I also had the opportunity to meet some very interesting people, one of which I have on the show today. Her name is Chiara Tosi, and she's a very passionate Italian entrepreneur and food and wine taster who is quite active on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. She lives in Veneto, in the northeastern part of Italy, where passion is her profession. And through her business, Gusto al Centro, she educates and supports food and beverage businesses to improve their brand identity for both the Italian market and markets abroad. Her passion has led her to earn titles such as Professional Cheese Taster, Cured Meats Taster, Master Chocolate Taster, Olive Oil Taster, and Wset Sommelier. Furthermore, she has launched an academy of Il Gusto al Centro, where you could have fun while learning to taste and pair your favorite products and dishes correctly, which is all thanks to the innovative method based on playful and enjoyable sensory experiences. One can discover how to taste and improve their life through the taste. So, Chiara, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Hi, everybody. Thank you to you, Robert, for your invitation. It's a great pleasure to be here today.
Thank you, and I'm looking forward very much to having this conversation. And it was, I must say, very nice meeting you not too long ago in Modena. So,
Yeah.
Chiara, you're very involved in the food industry, the food and beverage industry. What has led you down the path of food?
When I was a child, my parents tried to give me the best food to eat. For example, they got eggs from a farmer's chicken, salad from our garden, or homemade pasta. And these products, as you can imagine, were obviously tastier than those from the supermarket. And as a result, this improved my taste. In my family, there was always a search for healthy and tasty food, and these became my passions.
That's a great story. So I guess you were very much involved in helping when you were growing up, helping the preparation of the food,
Yeah.
Going out to get the food. Was there anything in particular that you were quite fond of when you were growing up?
Yes, I loved vegetables because in my garden there were a lot of vegetables, and most of the people think that vegetables are not tasted. But if you cook the vegetable in the right way, you can discover really elegant and tasty food combined, for example, with pasta is a great meal.
Absolutely, and I totally agree. In fact, I don't like when people tend to demonize
Yeah,
pasta because pasta is not a bad thing at all. Carbohydrates, but also mixed with, like you said, vegetables
yeah,
and things that could improve
cheeses.
the
Yeah,
dish.
yeah,
It could be quite healthy. So,
yeah.
have you always been in the food industry, or is it more of a recent discovery of yours? Like what? I know you have Il Gusto al Centro, and
Yes.
I just wanted you to talk a little bit about that for our listeners.
Yes, thank you. Gusto al Centro is a project that I thought 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, because my goal with Il Gusto al Centro is to help people to enjoy life more through food. A lot of people eat just for sustenance, but I think that when you eat well, you can have fun in your life. And personally, recognizing quality and knowing what you eat is not an innate skill, but a choice that can be learned. So with this project, I try to share my passion, and I try to share the thought that if you eat and drink well, your life would be better.
Absolutely, and I really like when you use the word passion, because when somebody's passionate about something, it makes them do a better job in whatever work or whatever project that they're trying to do. And I think you do a great job with Il Gusto al Centro. So your mission is quite similar to mine in that we try to teach about the pleasure of food, because it is not just something that you eat, you put in your stomach, and you leave.
Yeah.
It's something also to be enjoyed and celebrated, and that is something that you bring to the table since you were a young kid as well. So, if I'm not mistaken, you have a new academy, or you're trying to um, start something where you could teach people in a more structured way. Is that true?
Yes, it's true. The academy is not yet online. I hope the next month will be online in my website, because I tried to um, project my academy in short modules. In my idea, each of these modules should help people improve a specific skill, such as learning how to recognize the aroma in a red wine, or which type of scents can be detected in a mature cheese, or more learning about the best combination of pizza and wine. And then this academy, I would like that can be something that everybody can join, whether they are neophyte, an enthusiast, or just experts. Yes, with my academy, I aim to share my love and passion for the good food and beverages. And as you said, um, is not only a healthy reason that guide me, but also a pleasure reason, because the market is plenty of junk food, of food that is trash food. And if you understand that there is a world of quality food and tasty food, it then I can assure you that you never go back to eat something junk or something not tasting.
Exactly. So that makes me think that first of all, that's a great mission, and I totally agree with that. And I'm very excited to see how this will turn out in the future. And I wish you the best of luck with that. How do you? I just thought of this question right now. How do you teach someone to enjoy food if they've grown up just, I guess, consuming it in a quick way to fulfill their hunger? How do you teach somebody to sit down and enjoy slowly? That's difficult, don't you think?
Yeah, it's very difficult. This is a great question. You know, when I in my events or my courses, it's a hard work when, as you said, someone is just eating to feeding its stomach. But if you try to share how a product could be mm, taste in the correct way, you win. I can explain better. Sometimes I make some comparison. For example, for chocolates, I buy some chocolates, low quality chocolate at supermarket, and then I buy high quality chocolate from artisan. And then I compare three or four of these chocolates, and in a blind tasting, and I let the customer, the consumer, to explain what they can experience with their sense. And in the most of the time, they recognize the quality of the high quality chocolate, because the high quality chocolate has more balance in the aromas, and then is more persistent and more intense, and they can detect immediately that this is the best product in comparison with the other ones.
So of course you do this with a practical experience,
Yes,
which
of course,
seems,
practical.
of
Yes,
course,
yes.
which seems to help.
Yes, yes, practical. Yeah, because if you don't touch with your hands,
Right.
you cannot imagine how is this word. The best expression that I hear when I make this kind of comparison is, "Oh, oh yeah, this,
That's a good
this,
thing. That's a good thing
yes,
to hear.
and these say me that I'm on the right way. So
Absolutely. Yes, no, that's a good thing to hear, especially when you're tasting something like chocolate. And that leads me to the next thing I wanted to talk about, which I find very interesting, is the tasting, like the becoming a professional taster. So
yeah,
I know you have these certifications, and I think that they're wonderful. In fact, that's something I'd like to do in the future as well, to get them. So maybe we'll have a conversation a
yeah.
little later about that. Um, but what do you have to specifically do to become a professional taster of, let's just say, chocolate or olive oil? Can you take me through your experiences with that, and how do you share that with other people?
Yes, of course. Well, well, the certification are the results of years of studies, time and money invested. So I want to
Of course.
underline these things. I have both Italian international certification in wine, so as sommelier. I began with the wine to study wine tasting. Additionally, I am a master of cheese, chocolate, olive oil, and cured meat. And then, specifically for cheese, I became point of reference for this word, because I this certification allows me to serve as a judge at national and international food and beverage competition, speak at events, and teach courses. So when you take this certification, it's not the end of the story, but is the begin. You have the instruments to understand this word, so you have to taste and experience a lot of products, study, and is not only theory, but also practical work, because you have to taste, and when you taste, you have to recognize scents, you have to understand the quality of the product, you have to know the production process of that product. When I study to become master of cheese, I made cheese
Ah,
personally,
wow.
practically made. I went in a mountain for one week, and I tried to make cheese, so I could experience materially, practically experience with my hand how to make cheese. And then when I speak, I know what I say. you
You
know?
know, that makes a lot of sense. It never crossed my mind that you had to. I mean, I knew you had to understand the process of it, but to practically go make the
Yeah.
cheese, to be able to professionally and accurately taste the cheese, that makes a lot of sense. So that, I'm sure, must have been a very fun experience. Can I ask what cheese specifically did you make when you went to the mountains?
I made the Monte Veronese cheese, that is a typical cheese of my region, of my province, that is Verona province, in Veneto region, that is in the north of Italy, and is cow's milk cheese. And I made the Malga, Monte Veronese. Malga is the little, little a little place in the mountain where the cheese is made with ancient tradition.
Wow. So, I mean, part of the tasting experience of a product, cheese in this case, is also the storytelling issue as well. Because if they've been making that cheese since centuries ago, or even in
Yeah.
the ancient world, that's part of the experience. It's
Yes, of
not
course.
just the food.
Yeah.
That's fun. I would consider it fun. So, as a professional taster, like I've always wondered, are professional taste, do they objectively agree on taste, or is taste subjective? How do you measure
Yeah.
taste? How do you talk about taste?
Yeah, this is a great question because each of us is different with genetic background and experience background and physical characteristics. So I can have a perception of salt different from you, for example, because you are used to use a lot of salt in the salad, where I don't use in the salad. So my perception of salt can be different from you. But when you make the judge in the competition, there is a first phase where you have to align your taste to the other. So if in a panel of 10 people, for example, if your perception of sale, you see of salt, you see that is too low, you have to a little bit to balance your perception. And then with a test, sorry, with a test of a cheese, for example, of a wine, you can balance your judge. And then you um, in a panel of person, you can judge the product, and you can understand if you are on the line or not.
Okay, so all of the judges, of course, have to start at the same level.
Yes, of course.
So then their results are more, I don't want to say aligned,
Accurate.
but more
Yeah.
accurate. There you
Yes,
go.
there are difference between person and person, but you have to try to make a good judgment with the other one.
Very interesting. So, is there a specific product that you like to judge or taste one over the other? I know they're all different. It's hard to compare chocolate to olive oil to cheese, but what do you particularly have fun with more?
Um, bah, I I love taste, and taste. Perhaps chocolate. I love to taste chocolate, but when you tasted 20 pieces of chocolate, you are full. So you don't want
Yes.
to eat chocolate for 1 month.
No, exactly. Speaking of chocolate, when people think of chocolate, most, at least from an American point of view, tend to think of Swiss chocolate. Um, but what about Italian chocolate? Can you talk to me about Italian chocolate?
Yes, of course. Chocolate came from cacao.
Yes,
Cacao is not produced, is not um, doesn't grow in Europe, but
right.
it grows in other regions. So it can be strange to say that Italy is one of the best country where chocolate is produced, and Italy with France are the best countries with the best high quality chocolate. So
Really?
it's not Swiss. Yes, it's not Swiss. It's not Northern Europe. It's France and Italy.
Okay. Very
And
interesting.
yeah,
What areas do they? I don't want to say produce chocolate, but do they work the chocolate? Because, like you said, the cacao comes from South America,
yeah,
specifically.
Africa,
Yes,
Asia.
Africa. Yes,
Yes, yes. Europe is the only yes, in Europe we don't, as I said, we don't produce cacao, but we have a long tradition on transforming the cacao. And then with the culture of taste that we have in Italy and France, we um, we could reach a high quality in this with this product. And the Venezuela, for example, is the region, is the country that has the best high quality cacao, because they have cacao called Criollo, that is a variety of cacao that is the more high quality cacao. And for example, in Italy, there are a lot of little artisans that work this Criollo cacao and make excellent chocolate, wonderful chocolates.
You made me
And
think you made
yeah,
me think of a one of your podcast episodes because, by the way, your podcast I love. I was listened to a lot of the
oh,
episodes, and one
thank
of
you.
them was yes, one of them was about chocolate.
Yeah,
And you said you just mentioned one, but I believe you said there are three types. If you were to buy a bar of chocolate,
yes.
there are three types on the labeling that you could look for that would kind of um, reveal its quality. Am I correct with saying that?
Oh, I think are you thinking about the variety of cacao, or
Yes, maybe it's the variety
yeah,
because you mentioned
three:
Criollo. Yes, three.
Criollo, Forastero, and Trinitario. Yeah,
Okay, and what
there
what
are.
are the differences?
Yeah. The Criollo is the highest quality. It's produced in a little percentage of the whole cacao production, because it's 1 or 2% in the world. And then we have the Forastero, that is the lowest quality and most produced in Africa, and this the cacao that goes in the chocolate to, you say, the how like Nutella. Did you heard about
Okay.
Nutella?
Oh, we love Nutella. Believe me, it's everywhere.
Yeah, but it's made with the lowest quality of
Right.
chocolate. And then also for some dessert chocolate, industrial chocolate, industrial product. And then we have an intermediate variety that is quality, because it's more similar to Criollo than the Forastero, that is called Trinitario. In this quality, we have a good production, because is around 15%, more or less. And it's a quality that can give some good tasting experience if produced well, is if transformed well, because when you begin with a high quality raw material, and you are um, very good to transform the material and not to destroy the characteristic of this material, then you can obtain a high quality product. And this is happen with the chocolate. Oh, also in wines, also in cheese, of course, but in chocolate, yes, of course.
Absolutely, absolutely. And to stay on the topic of chocolate because I find it interesting. I know there's one chocolate, I think it's the only PGI chocolate, so EGP in Italian, cioccolato di Modica. And I know
Modica,
I
yeah.
talked to you about this when we met in
Yes.
Modena. I happen to like this chocolate, especially because of its historical aspects. But what variety of cacao is that of the three that you just mentioned?
Oh, there is not a single variety, because each producer can use the variety that they want. It's something that is regarding the production process. So Modica can be produced with all the variety, but is the difference from the other chocolate is the production process, because the Cioccolato di Modica has in the final process doesn't make some specific activity to have finest chocolate, because cioccolato di Modica is, if you already tasted, is a little bit more with grain, not so yes, not
It's very
so
granular.
silky. Yeah, yes, it's not silky like 100% chocolate, for example, or is granulate, as you said. Yes.
Right, right. And is that because the sugar is not melted and you could taste the sugar that's crunchy?
It's not only sugar, is something that is related with cacao, with chocolate,
Oh, okay.
because the final process to obtain a good chocolate bar is to make some work to melt the chocolate in the right way. So to make the chocolate silky with this sensation that there is a fusion in your mouth. It's something that need to be done with a specific production process, and Modica doesn't do.
Because they do that by hand, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yes.
Everything's done
Yes.
traditionally by hand.
Yes. Yes. Of
Understood.
course.
And this chocolate lesson's very interesting, and I know part of your mission is to educate it about Italian food, and you're doing a great job. But not just food, also beverage as well, such as wine. Speaking of wine, I know when we were in Modena together, we drank a lot of Lambrusco. Now,
Yes.
kind of shifting the conversation away from chocolate into Lambrusco for 1 minute. And was that a new world that you discovered? The different types of Lambrusco, Sorbara, Grasparossa. Was that for you new?
Yes, a little bit new, because in Italy we consider Lambrusco not a great wine. It was a surprise for me, because I found that Lambrusco, if done correctly, and high quality Lambrusco, of course, I find this wine really interesting, and also combined with some dishes, some foods, could be very, very, very interesting. Really.
Yes, I found it to be. I personally like Lambrusco, so I found it to be a very fun experience. I like the dryness of the
Yeah.
Lambrusco di Sorbara or Grasparossa, and the sparkling as well. In terms of attitude towards food, from an American point of view, we think when we think of Italy, we think of a relationship-oriented country that likes to be around the table with their friends or family and enjoy food. But since you were born and currently live in Italy, what is the general attitude of Italian towards food? Is my analysis an exaggeration, or what do you think?
No, it's correct. It's perfect, your analysis, because Italians love to eat and drink more than other people in other country. Foods and beverage are part of the culture, and this, can be limiting, because they are convinced they know what is good and what is not. As a result, when they discover that there is a professional approach to tasting, they become curious and want to learn more. But
Okay.
yes, but it's hard work, because really they are convinced they know what is good and what is not, because they love to eat. They have a tradition. They know the Italian food. They are Italian. But there is also a professional approach, and not everybody in Italy knows this.
Okay, and that's interesting, because since they're so linked to it, they think that they, I guess, know already because they're used to their own town or region high quality cuisine, and then when it comes to something external, that you kind of have to teach them a little more about that. But yes, in Italy, at least from my point of view, do a lot of people put emphasis on, we call it from farm to table. You would call it chilometro zero, so 0 kilometer.
Yes.
Do people put a lot of emphasis on that? Is that important to Italians?
Yes, the local products are very important, not only for regions, but also for every single little village.
Yes.
Local products are, as I may say, are considered healthy, fresh, typical.
Yes.
Furthermore, local markets are selling these products, and consumers are increasing constantly. Each village has its own local markets. And the second aspect, also, for this for this success for this local market, is the relationship with the farmer, because Italians love getting to know other people, learning more about tradition or the production process. And in these local markets, this is possible. So the role of local products is very important in our traditions.
Ab- Absolutely, and you kind of just read my mind. So the role of these local products also helps to form the identity of the regions as well. Because if you go
Yeah.
from one region to another, you get different products, but
Yes.
different cultural identities as well. And I guess that's part of the beauty of the food culture in Italy.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I totally agree.
And you go from one region to another, you experience different foods, different microclimates, different terroirs as well, which is a very interesting um, uh, concept when it comes
Yeah.
to the production of wine, but not just wine, but also other products, many other products, cheese, cured meat, so on and so forth.
Every
So
product. Yeah.
absolutely. So, from an American point of view, sometimes I do hear that terroir isn't as important as people say when it comes to one type of production to another. It's like, for example, some I've heard that you could, take the seed of a traditional pomodoro di San Marzano, bring it to somewhere else, and you get the same exact product, but that's not the case. So, I think that terroir is extremely important, and based on your professional tasting experience, how is terroir fundamentally important for the final taste of the product?
Huh. I say something really interesting, because if we consider, sorry, the word terroir, which is a French word, and if we consider the word terroir with its French connotation, we see that it has a specific meaning. What I mean, the concept of terroir encompasses all the factors that influence the characteristics of a wine, for example, or a cheese, including not only environmental factors such as climate, soil, weather, etc., but also human factors such as traditions and knowledges of the place. As a consequence, like you said, me too, I consider the terroir fundamentally important for the final taste of a product, you know?
Yes. Yes, so it's not just environmental
No,
or
no.
earth or climate reasons. It's also human factors as well. The ones
Yeah.
that have a connection to the land, the ones that work the land, and the ones that maybe have that they grew up with it, so it's you could consider it part of their quote unquote DNA.
Yes, of
They
course.
have
Yeah,
a
correct.
specific respect for the land as well, which has a major impact on the final product.
Of course. Absolutely.
And that also contributes to the rich Italy's rich culinary heritage, because so many people grew up around food. I mean, you even mentioned it as well. Your passion from food comes from local products and growing up around everything. So, what, in your opinion, what do you find in terms of Italian cuisine? What do you find to be most fascinating? I know that's a difficult it's a difficult question.
The creativity. I love how Italians can mix ingredients, create new combinations, and offer dishes that provide an unforgettable taste experience.
The creativity, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So no, pineapple on pizza, correct?
Yes.
No pineapple on pizza. We
But
want
the cre
I
yes,
won't
but
fight that battle.
okay. No, the creativity must have some reasons. I know there is always the balance for a dishes, or the structure of the dishes to understand and to take on consideration, and the taste, the whole taste. So the creativity in creating something with uh, good taste experience for your sense.
Yes, yes, the creativity is, I've noticed from region to region, the creativity when it comes to food, but also the passion that people have. I mean, we saw this in Modena when we were there. The way they spoke about their products. I mean, I could think of the dinner that we were at. I think the restaurant was Strada Facendo.
Strada facendo, yes.
Yes, yes, and we were there, and it was a fantastic experience. We all sat at different tables, but we met different people, and
Yes.
the way they were talking about balsamic vinegar, for example, was very, at least at my table, was in such a passionate and prideful way, you know. So that I mean, at least for me, I find to be fascinating that people take such pride in this.
Yes, of
Um,
course.
and when you go from region to region, you see how different everything changes as well. Do you have a specific, besides your own region, a favorite region for food in Italy? Um,
It's a hard choice.
it is very hard. I'm sorry, I'm asking you the difficult
Yeah,
question.
no. But I have, if I have to choose, I have to say that generally I prefer the northern regions of Italy,
Okay.
because their cuisine seems to me, of course, personally, more elegant and balanced. Because in the south of Italy there are a little bit more heavy taste. So
Yes, that is true. I confirm. I
you can
confirm.
you have experienced, I think.
I do. Yes, yes. My family is from the region of Molise, and
Okay.
it's always a pleasure to go there. I get fed. You know, it's top. They treat me very nicely, and then the food is delicious. Um, but I definitely have to learn to eat slowly, if that makes
Slowly.
sense.
Yeah.
To eat slowly. Um, Given the fact that you're from Veneto, you grew up in the region of Veneto. I know now is a time where people are starting to think of trips and they're going to be traveling to Italy. What are the top three foods or beverages a tourist should try in the region of Veneto? Or maybe specifically, I don't know if you know much about Venice. A lot of people travel to Venice, but we'll keep it within Veneto, the region. What do
In
you
Veneto.
think?
Okay. In Veneto, there is a lot to try, but I would start with the region's greatest red wine, Amarone.
Okay.
Who does know Amarone? I
I
don't know.
know it. I know Amarone. I've never tried Amarone. I have to admit, not
No,
yet. I know.
really, Robert? I don't believe you.
We'll
You
have to do
never
a
tried.
tasting. Maybe I'll come to Veneto and we'll do a
Yeah,
tasting together.
yeah. Then I would suggest trying a cheese made from cow's milk called Montasio. Montasio is just really, really good and really interesting. And finally, something that it's hard to find, but is really typical and nobody knows, is a Veronese dessert. Verona is a province of the Veneto region, is the province where I live. This dessert called torta russa, and is made with almonds. So it's a typical dessert, and is from a tourist point of view, perhaps is not so known, but it's a dessert that is really interesting.
Torta russa, it's called.
Torta russa.
Why russa? So in English, it's called Russian cake. Torta
Russia.
russa.
Yeah, there are two
Theories.
region for that. Yes, two origins. One because it seems distorted like the head of a Russian man. And the other that there was pâtissier, an artisan that made cakes that was in Russia and invented this kind of cake.
Okay. There's
These
always
are
there's a
legends. I don't know if they are true.
Yes, they're just legends, but legends are fun to recount. I love
Yeah.
legends. Interesting. Torta russa. I'll have to try that.
Yeah.
Awesome. This has been a very very good conversation. I enjoy talking about this type of stuff, and just to kind of end the conversation, I want to be respectful of your time, of course. What is one thing in your professional experience that you want the world to know about Italian food and beverage products?
As you said before, Italians are proud of their food and beverage products. These products are the result of passion, tradition, creativity, and culture. Yes, culture. Because as I said always in my courses or video, taste is culture. This is what I would like that the world know about Italian food and food and beverage products.
I like that. Taste is culture. That's good. I'm going to start quoting you.
It's my claim in my
Taste, yes,
website.
taste is culture, Chiara
Yeah.
Tosi.
Gusto è cultura in Italian.
I love it. I love it. Very good. How can people find your work?
I have a website that is www.ilgustoalcentro.it, but you can write me if you want. My mail is info@ilgustoalcentro.it, and then you can follow me on my channel. Perhaps I can also think to open new English channels. What do you think, Robert?
Yes, no, I think it could be a good thing. Yes, absolutely. Maybe we could work together with this.
Yeah, it
I
can
think
be
it
a
would be
good
fun.
idea.
Yes, yes. And I will put all of that information in the notes
Thank you.
of the episode so people could reach you
Thank you very much.
your social channels, your
Yeah,
website and your email as well.
Il Gusto al is all the channels are in Italian, of course, but now I have this idea that can be done.
That's fine. I do have some followers on my social media channels that are
Okay.
a lot of them that are learning Italian, that want to practice their Italian.
Oh,
So you
perfect.
could be the perfect person to watch. And I of course do have Italian followers as well, so they could follow you too. Which I
Oh,
hope everybody goes to follow Chiara at Il Gusto al Centro,
Il Gusto al
because
Centro.
I have to say your podcast, I really like it. They're
Oh,
shorter
thank you.
episodes, and I listen to maybe about 4 or 5 of them in a row. Just you get so much educational experience out of it. So you do a great job.
Yes, perhaps it is also too educational. Perhaps I can be a little bit more, I don't know. But this is my mission, and I love to do this.
You do a great job. So
Thank you.
they're not too educational for me.
Thank you very much, Robert.
Well,
You're very kind.
well, Chiara, thank you very much for coming on the show today. I really appreciate your time. And I can't wait to have a conversation like this sometime in the future.
Yes, of course. Thank you to you. Thank you to all your followers. And it was a really pleasure for me to be with you today.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for joining me on this journey through the stories of authentic Italian cuisine. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast for more insights and interviews. Also, feel free to reach out with your thoughts or questions on our social media channels at Stop Italian Sounding or on our website stopitasounding.com. Grazie a tutti e alla prossima.
Sentire Media.
Hey, podcast producers and show hosts. Do you want to join a podcast network that celebrates all things Italian? At Sentire Media, we understand the allure of Italy and its unique culture. Our devoted team of hosts and producers are all driven by their shared passion for Italy. And we work tirelessly to create the best lifestyle podcasts and content that will whisk you away to the very heart of Italy. With us, you can savor the mouth-watering flavors, get lost in the stories from the past, break down the cultural barriers, and truly immerse yourself in the vibrant traditions of this intoxicating country. If you have a great podcast idea or are already in production and would like to join Sentire Media, head over to sentiremedia.com, that's SENTIRE media.com, and find out how to submit your show.